Welcome everybody. Y'all ready for this? The Hustle. My name is Steve Aramopoulos, and these are my co-hosts. I'm Talia. And I'm Tech Luciano. You may have heard me on radio, you may have never heard of me at all, but that's okay.
Cause y'all gon' learn today. Your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle. This is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle, under pressure that will break a foe. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now, welcome to the hustle.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Hustle Podcast. And today we got a full table, man. Everybody's here. Talia's in the building.
Talia's here,
Tech's
bro.
in the building. We got a special reoccurring guest. Our first one on the podcast. We got Tiny T,
Yes.
Tara Tiny T Pompetti in the building.
It's a long name.
Thank you for being here once again.
Thank
I
you.
mentioned before off camera, she was one of our most viral guests.
No, not one of.
She was the
most viral guest.
Thank you for giving me the
So
credit.
the fact that she's back, I got a warm feeling in my heart.
Thank you.
And we got another special guest. We got a BJJ expert. We got an MMA master over here. We got Thierry, the surgeon, Quenneville.
Yeah.
Welcome, my man.
Thank you.
Did he say your name right?
It was perfect.
All right.
Apparently somebody said it really bad in Manitoba. We're not going to call him out, but Western Canada, get your shit together.
Because Steve, I'm not gonna lie. Normally, in any other situation, I have
always
your back.
fuck it up.
No, I have your back in normal situations. In this situation, you're on your own. You're on your own, buddy. You know. So what's up, guys, man? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
A lot has changed since we last spoke.
So much has changed. Yeah. So I was actually the one that reached out to you guys because we have an upcoming YouTube channel, but I think there's like so much information how it started, and that's really why we're here, is that we want to share that, inspire you guys.
I think the fact that we have T's story already out of the way, she can jump directly into that and tell us everything that she's been up to since, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into Thierry because I want to know everything that your journey and everything. Too.
Yeah, Steve's been writing questions for a couple days probably now. 100%. He's got his notebook and shit. He's very prepared, this guy.
Notebook,
I would just like to say I'm happy to get to be here this time because I was not here last
You know what? It's been you know what? Let's just pause for 2 seconds.
please.
How have you been, Tals? Because I haven't seen you in 6 months. So what's up?
I've been going through it, man, but I'm okay. I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, it's been
think
a rough couple weeks.
I
but
think
we're good
today's motivational episode will help
Yeah.
you get through it.
I hope so.
now. I might start crying, but it's okay.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
We grow through what we go through.
See, there you go.
That's it.
Make a t-shirt out of that.
That's it.
Facts.
KT, tell us, give us an update.
Oh man.
I know the love life has changed a bit.
Well, that's the thing, it's like I feel that my life changes so fast all the time, and that's why when people ask me about my story or where I'm at, it's like now I kind of have to edit it to start where I am today. So last time I saw you guys, I was moving back to Mexico, and that's why we had got on to the show in the first place. And the last 3 years, I've just been living like a digital nomad as I build my business in and out of Canada, Mexico. And I always wanted to be in California. That was one of my main goals. And with COVID, I'm a pro athlete. So I'm a pro athlete with Fitness Canada, which is a division of Musclemania. So this year, I decided to do my pro debut in California, Hollywood. And when I came back this summer, for many reasons, circumstances again, I just decided that I was going to be moving to California. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now, is that I'm going to be moving to Hollywood to do my pro debut down there.
It makes sense though. It is kind of the mecca of bodybuilding, right?
It is. A lot has changed down there. Like Miami is very big for
that's true. Tampa as
fitness
well.
too now. Yeah, exactly. And because of the conditions in California during COVID, a lot of people left to Texas. A lot of people left to Miami. But I've traveled twice to California and I absolutely love it down there. So I always wanted to live there, but my ex was more on the it's expensive type of side. I want to stay in Mexico. So I got out of that relationship this summer, and that was kind of also a trigger for me of, you know what, I'm just going to do what I've always wanted to do. And since I'm competing there, I'm just going to go live there
makes
anyways.
sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So basically, the location was a factor, and he wanted to stay in Mexico. You wanted to pursue other things.
Yeah.
And that was one of the factors. I'm pretty sure those other things.
Yeah,
and
that was one of the factors.
accumulated and you decided something else was on the horizon.
Yes.
And now you have Thierry over here. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
You guys look amazing together. Just putting that out there.
Thank you.
I'm a little intimidated though. Like, I'm scared. You scared me a little bit, bro.
So you mentioned a YouTube channel. How did you guys come up with that idea to start a YouTube channel?
Go about it.
Yeah. So I've been reading a lot on social media lately. So to get some tricks, because Tiny told me about those consultants that charge a lot of money, and I wanted to travel because first of all, I come from Africa, so I was born and raised over there. So I came here, I had my kids, I did my MMA career, but then now that my kids are older and I feel free, I want to go and travel again. So I was supposed to go in France. I went to Calgary lately. So when Tiny came up with that idea, if I wanted to go with her in Hollywood, I said, yeah, why not? So I'll just put France another day and I'll just go down to the States. So about that YouTube thing, so I decided if I go to California with Tiny, then you know what, maybe I'll start understand all those tricks and read on those books about maybe helping her, and also maybe one day, slowly but surely becoming a consultant, giving some tricks to other people and charge them. So if I'm traveling, so that's how I went. And by reading, suddenly it was always popping up with the social media about YouTube. I was like, what the hell? I think, I'm 43 years old. So I thought it was, IG, Instagram, and TikTok and all those things. Yeah. But it seems it's more YouTube that make a lot of money.
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't know that about it. So, and I remember last year I went to Las Vegas, and 2 months before I wanted to have more tricks because I was spending 7 days over there. So I use YouTube as a tool to go and see a lot of those videos to see what kind of tricks I can have. And one tricks, just a small tricks like that. But me, I like to have all my drinks really cold. And one of my friends that traveled to Vegas all the time, like for the past 10 years, every year, he told me, he said, if you go on those big hotels and on the strip, and I said, yeah, actually, I'm going in at the MGM Grand. He said, don't take even a bottle of water out of the fridge. Even if you put it back, then they're gonna charge you. Yeah. They know. So I said, okay, so I have to find a trick. So all those videos I was watching, they gave me that tricks about that white styrofoam.
Styrofoam,
yeah, that you can buy and then put ice in it, or put ice in the bath. So I said, okay, it bugged me a bit. And then by watching video, one guy gave one good tricks about, you know what, if you have that medical médicament, how do you say that?
Medication?
Those medication that you have to put in the freezer, and you need it as soon as you need it. You need to be to have it right away. Accessible. Then you can ask the hotel to bring you up an extra fridge for free. But you need that idea. So that's what we did. I went there back then with my ex-girlfriend, and we thought about that medication that we need to put in the freezer. And because it's private, you don't need to show them, and they're just willing, and they just brought us a fridge upstairs. So about all those things is that I remember that last year I used YouTube as a tool
for information
for those 2 months, and it helped me a lot for those 7 days in Vegas. So one morning when I was reading, I decided with the thing we'll talk about is that, okay, I'll go on YouTube and see what people does. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it at all. I went on Google, I couldn't find it. So I said, okay, so if we don't see it, maybe it's not good, or maybe it's really good. And then by the time I told Tiny when she came back from the gym that morning, she found it was really interested as an idea. And when I spoke with other people, other guys about it, they all went nuts about it. Yeah. And they said, you should go. So since then, we decided to go on that idea.
So just to clarify, like what is the actual idea? Like building the YouTube channel, you mean?
No. So the idea of the YouTube channel is that, somebody who like to train and get better every week. Yeah. So by eating good and that have that comfort zone at his house. Yeah. I find that you can have the same thing by traveling.
Okay.
What you find in YouTube is that it's just a maintain. It's like, oh, you go to the hotel and then you do your tricep push-up. Yeah, you can go in a gym, but then you go to a restaurant, you have to watch out of that calorie in the food. So no, you should do the same thing. So us, for that 7 days I will be traveling as a road trip by car, what we want to do is to show that we can have that same comfort in every city with the technology today. So we won't book in any Airbnb, even any gyms, any nothing. So on our way to the first city, we'll just show on the video with the technology. Okay, so we're heading to Toronto, first stop.
Yeah.
So maybe, we're willing to stop before or after. Okay, but then perfect. We're not booked and forced to be at that Airbnb. So we're just booking that Airbnb. Okay, what the grocery around it? So, because we, in our Airbnb, instead of an hotel, we have a kitchen. So we can,
that change. That's a game changer too.
we can cook our,
Exactly. You
our
can
meal prep.
Basically, yeah.
It sounds like a vlog, but like as you're like going on the adventure, you're taking the people with you.
Yeah.
You're showing them how you're getting your stuff
Yeah,
done.
because basically already like for me it's my lifestyle. Like it's been my lifestyle, and I coach women across Canada. Like I have a very high volume fitness business, and it's one of the things that comes back the most often is when people travel, they're like, it's their number one excuse, right? I don't have access to
just gonna
healthy
pig
food.
out all week.
I don't have access to a gym, but I'm actually in competition prep. So I don't have any leverage right now. Like I need to follow everything to the macro, to the T. And traveling to California, we actually, initially we were going to bring Kiwi, my dog, with us. And then I realized that by taking the dog, it would cause a constraint, right? Because there's so many Airbnbs you can't book or hotels you can't book. So we're leaving not leaving. My assistant is flying my dog to Hollywood for me.
She said assistant. That's a flex. ladies and gentlemen.
My partner coach, she's my partner. I'm more than anything else, but she's flying my dog to me so we can have flexibility. But with that said, it's like nothing's planned, and I don't have room to kind of fuck up, so it's kind of to show people too that really there is no excuse. But
100%.
a lot of people, it's not so much that they don't want to, it's that they don't know how. So no, a lot of people don't know how though, but a lot of people don't want to, but a lot of people don't know how. So it's like we get to show that, we get to show the back end too of, the reality of it, also letting people in our life, what's going on, the competition prep. So I think there's two sides to it that could be very interesting. You have the people that are interested in just being in your business. And then you have the other side where people actually want to learn something. Yeah.
And it's important to combine the two, because for me, any fitness trainer that I've ever followed online that that I connected with, that really had an impact on me. Exactly. Right. It's not just, okay, this guy or girl knows their stuff. It's this person has a personality and they're able to break it down in a way that I can resonate with. So it is super important to get your personality across too. So the fact that you're combining it is it's perfect.
Yeah. That's why reality TV shows are so big too, right? Because people want to actually be in your life. They want to see when you mess up. They want to see when you get into arguments.
Oh shit! She looked at you on that one.
I didn't know we had an argument before, but
it hasn't happened.
Welcome to Love and Hip Hop.
It's like, Now we got the followers going up. But I think that's the whole idea behind it. Like personally, I would have always wanted to have a YouTube channel and let people more into my life, but it's just so much work, So it's like Thierry, he's into it and he wants to build it. So I'm just listen, do your thing and I'll star in it.
Look, every day is different content. You know what I mean? Every day is a new piece of content.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys are traveling for X amount of hours, that's, I don't know how many hours of content that you can produce. Yeah. It's real life.
It
real
is,
life.
totally.
So people, like you said, you're letting the viewers into your world. There's also that information that they're getting. Like you said, if you're being informative, you're going to watch videos of, like you said, ice, fridge, and stuff that we would normally not even think about looking for on YouTube. But
it's like a life hack.
It's a life hack. When you want to learn something, because you're going to Vegas or you're going to this country, you YouTube it nowadays and it's all there.
Totally.
Like since you just mentioned the YouTube channel, I started my YouTube channel a few months ago.
He's flexing. I
started a travel channel because I'm traveling a lot.
Yeah, he travels a lot. He goes to the Inca trails. He's all over the place.
So I've been on 30 different vacations and I never record anything. So I'm like, this time around, I'm going to start recording.
Yeah.
And from the last trip that I did in Colombia, I put out all the footage.
And how's it going?
I already got 15,000 organic views.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
For real?
15,000
Wow, that's
organic
amazing,
views.
man.
You should plug the podcast on your fucking
I'm gonna
channel, bro.
mention it when I get to Colombia this Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to mention the YouTube channel, tell people to follow it. But it's information. Yeah. People want to see where to go in the city. People want to see what food to eat.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I think a lot of his inspiration too, though, right? We are from Montreal, and that's one of the reasons why you guys have this show in the first place and invite people on this show is to motivate and inspire and show that it is possible to do things that are outside of that box. You know what I mean? So I think it's so cool when we see people that, you know, are from Montreal and that are doing amazing things and sharing the tools of how they did it, you know, because it's not like, you know, like Thierry, like he was married for, you know, 20 years and he just got over a relationship. He had a house and he just decided from one day to another, like he was working, and decided, you know what? No plan. I'm just leaving and doing this. And for myself, it's the same thing. You know, I had my apartment. I didn't have a plan. So I think I'm like throwing your mic on you. I think it's nice to show people that it is possible to live your dream and it doesn't take the perfect plan and it doesn't take finances and it doesn't take, some financial security probably or a plan somewhat maybe, but you guys get my point. You know, my point is it is possible, you know, and I think it's important to show people that and not just look at reality TV from the US until it's going to be us, of course. But, you know, like really people that are relatable and people we grew up with, you know, I think that's cool.
You said getting the chances to experience different things. How did you feel about going to Italy right now? Did you feel like you unplugged from the world? And
to be honest, like it was like really like less than 24-hour notice. It was just like booked a ticket, texted my boss the same night. I'm getting on a flight. I'm going to Italy tomorrow. I'll deal with the consequences when I get back.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it was fucking amazing. And
but
I
it is.
do not regret it. And then when I got back, she sits me down in her office and she's like, you know, like you can't do that again. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's never gonna happen again. She's like, well, if you do it again, like buy me a ticket too. You know, like I like did not get in any shit for it. Like sometimes like if things are meant for you, it'll just fall into place.
And when you don't have expectations, I find it so much better too. You see, like the reason why you had such a great time is because you didn't plan this big trip that was supposed to go this way. Right. It's like you went, you experienced it, and when you go and you experience something with an open mind, then whatever happens is pretty much above your expectations, you know? So I think that's what's cool too. You know, what makes things so much more exciting is to not necessarily have this idea of what things should be or could be, but experience them for what they are, you know?
Go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're not going to be stopping at any gyms along the way. How you guys?
So are.
Okay, so she's like yes, and he's like no.
Yeah, Thierry, we're stopping at all the gyms.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're stopping at gyms. I heard we're not stopping at gyms.
We do.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Maybe you know.
I thought you were gonna do some.
They do.
I thought you were gonna do some workouts in the street. You're gonna find like a tree. We're gonna hang off this tree right here. Calisthenics, you know?
Rocks.
You've been in Colombia too much, bro.
All this is possible.
That is possible. That would be great content too.
Yeah, because when I went to Calgary, the last day, I went in all those different gyms, even martial art gyms and bodybuilding gyms. It was awesome. I did exactly what we're doing now. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. The day I was going to my cousin's wedding, and I went to my uncle and auntie's house, and just before arriving there, I told my uncle, "Can you stop at the grocery?" I just popped in my head because I didn't know what they were eating, and I just did my grocery. When I arrived at my auntie's, she was kind of sad and mad a bit. Like, what, you think I can not cook to you? Mm-hmm. And then by the weeks going on, she kind of realized, she said, oh, you know what, I couldn't do what you need, what you're eating, and I'm happy you're doing it. And even all week long, I saw my body getting better and better. And at the last day where I was going is that they had a field they're cowboys and they're in a range. And I did a video on it, and I was just training on the field. It was crazy, and doing like a squat with the rocks and throwing rocks.
Yeah.
It was a crazy good training.
Yeah, so if
See the muscles on them fucking horses though?
Oh yeah.
Shit is crazy, bro. I know. It's wild. It's out of control.
What I got out of that was like, I'm never inviting you guys to eat at my house because it's pasta all the time.
Yeah, and all carbs at this Italian house.
We plan other activities though. That's the thing too, is that, like a lot of times our society, our activities evolve around food, around alcohol. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges that people face when they do want to become healthy, is that they're like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like people feel like they're losing something rather than focusing on the life they're actually gaining by becoming healthier individuals. So it's like, if you take us as an example, I'm in competition prep. I can't go to a restaurant. It's not happening. I haven't been to a restaurant in 4 months. So it's like all of our activities evolve around other things. Like, we go to Laurent, we go to spas, we go, so I think that's a big part of it too, is like showing people, listen, like it doesn't have to be around food all the time, There's other things to do.
That's what I was going to ask, is like, if you guys want to go to a restaurant, where do you go?
Yeah, we don't go to restaurants.
Off seasons. Off seasons.
Yeah.
Prep at home. That's
but
it.
even then, I'm so picky, that it's like, I don't even like going to a restaurant.
Well, that was my question.
Like,
so when you're like, when the competition's over and you're on your off season, right? Like, do you go a little crazy and just a little bit? Like, stop it in and out. Stop it in and out. Get a fry, like.
Big Mac here and there.
You didn't even want to eat a taco for me in Mexico.
Yeah,
Come on,
no. There's two type of athletes, and like, I think that's why me and Thierry, we get along so well too, is because he's been like that his whole career. And we talk about it all the time, that his whole career, I actually asked him at one point, I'm like, this seems so easy for you. And he's like, listen, my whole career, he's like, I would bring my food. I'd bring my food to my family's houses. I'd bring my food to restaurants. And I'm like, oh, wow, you understand my reality. But there's two types of people, and it's all about the mindset. For me, fitness is a lifestyle. I have my personal code of how I eat. So, I don't eat junk food. Like I told you guys last time, I don't drink alcohol. Like, it's not part of who I am as a person. So the only difference between an off season and an on season is, yes, it's a little bit more restrictive and a bit less calories, but aside from that, if I go to a restaurant, I'll have a steak, or I'll have seafood, but
protein.
you won't catch me eating like protein. So yes, that's pretty much it. So
that's crazy.
I think it's a perfect segue right now.
Okay,
we got to find out about
Yeah.
Thierry. I want to know, you said you were born in Africa.
Yeah.
Let's hear the story, how you were born over there. Like,
you knew he was going to ask.
getting into MMA,
totally.
I just don't see how that
changing your whole life around, bro. I don't know. I
Me
see you. I heard you were talking about, you were, there was a point in life that you were drinking a lot and stuff like that, going out. Give us the whole rundown.
Okay.
And let's move this mic a little bit in front of Thierry, since he's going to be...
So I'll do my best. You kind of understand I'm French, but with my career, I kind of learned English. I was kind of forced because I was fighting international. But anyway, so if you feel like helping me with some word,
I got you.
I like to learn. So I'm not.
Well, you're doing great. So just
Thank you.
No worries.
And I'll get better eventually, especially in living in California. So anyway, I had to throw it on the table. So I was born in Africa because my dad always been passionate about Africa. That's what he's telling me because I wasn't born. But so he made sure that he worked over there. So, and then he met my mom here in Quebec. And at one point he just sent her an airplane ticket saying, if, we met each other, I love you. If you still love me, then just come to Africa, and then we'll spend the rest of our life together. And they're still together. And
that's romantic as fuck, bro.
Yeah, it is.
I can't even get a text back.
Yeah. That was a letter, sending back then.
Yeah,
It's not a text,
Tinder, bro.
It was a letter.
The real shit.
A year after they saw each other.
That's crazy, bro.
So she went, and I was born after a while over there in Africa, and I was raised a couple of years there, and did a couple of country where they were working. And then by the time me and my younger sister, we had to go to school, they preferred that we had a good education here in Canada, back with the family. So we went back here, and then my dad was just traveling back and forth in Africa. And then at one point, a little bit older, when I was finished with high school, between CGIP and university. Then I went back to Africa because they were living over there. So, they did all those French country.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he couldn't do it in English. Right. So I was born in Central Africa, so in Congo. Wow. I live in Gabon, and then in Mali. Up.
You wouldn't think it.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's a surprise.
And that's the main reason why I did MMA. Because when I came back here in Canada, I was rejected by everybody.
Wow.
Because I was white, but I was talking with an accent.
You're not Anglo, you're not Quebecois.
Yeah, they didn't. So they didn't want to. I didn't fit in any white clique, and then I didn't really fit with the black people, even if I came from Africa.
Because they're like, you still ain't.
I'm white and I'm here in Quebec,
right? Like,
but after a while, I kind of fit in those clique. Yeah. So I was never with the white Quebecois. I was always with like the Latino and the black people, because they were from outside, or their parents was coming from outside, and me, I was coming from outside.
You could relate to them.
So it was easier.
Yeah.
The mentality was easier for me. But what happened is, by getting bullied many years, at one point, you kind of make yourself being more alone. You're confident in some of your friends, but not that much. And then every time I was watching a movie where they were fighting, then I was always imagine myself, even if it was the good or the bad guy, of me being one of the actor, just fighting, just wanted to fight, but I didn't know how to fight, and I was kind of scared also. Then at one point, I just, with my friends, we were watching like those old Bruce Lee movie, and they were always talking about, oh yeah, we should like go train, And then one day, I just kind of disappeared. I just went and started training, and just training, and I never stopped after that.
Which martial art did you initially start with?
I started with Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you went straight Bruce Lee on it.
Yeah, but that's so bad. That's so bad for MMA. And then when I was doing Wing Chun Kung Fu, my teacher, that Sifu, he told me out for like 2-3 years. He said, you seem too much like being like a boxer and moving fast. So you should at least do Jet Kundo. So that's Bruce Lee, the martial art that Bruce Lee invited. So I said, okay. So I went there, and then from there, Bruce Lee, you have like two mentality in that Jet Kundo. You have the traditional Jet Kundo and the concept Jet Kundo. So the traditional is that, okay, we stop showing until Bruce Lee's dead. So what Bruce Lee did, that's it. We don't involve. Okay. And then the concept is that, Bruce Lee always wanted to get involved his martial art and getting better and better. So when he died, some of his students said, well, we need to keep involving. So that's the concept. So that you have two different Jet Kundo.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think Bruce Lee was like one of the first mainstream kind of figures who kind of realized that like one particular martial art wasn't gonna. You had to take things from every facet of martial arts and kind of meld them together, right?
Yeah, that was his mentality. Even he taught from those sprinter, the way they get up and they just kick fast. Yeah. So that's why his back foot, his toe was high, so he could go fast
and cover more distance.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he took it from any different sport to get his martial art the best.
Which is crazy, because this isn't like the 70s that he realized this. This is like 40 years before modern mixed martial arts.
Yeah, and you can also see it in his last movie, Enter the Dragon, that he did an armbar.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Did grappling, because he met in a convention. He met Jean LaBelle, who's a master in judo, the old judo. Because we see the judo today that they do throwing but back then they were doing also some ground,
like submission more.
They still allowed to do submission, but you have to be really fast from throwing, and then they have to do armbar. But back then, the old judo, you were allowed to fight on the ground, but not closing the guard like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu do. But with an open guard, you were allowed to do. So Jean LaBelle, he kind of supposedly, I don't know, I wasn't born, but supposedly Bruce Lee was beating everybody that he was seeing and challenging, but Jean LaBelle kind of played with him because it was grappling. Yeah. So he realized that it was really, really good. He should learn some grappling.
He was missing a facet of his game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he showed that in Enter the Dragon, and supposedly all those like karate, kung fu people was just mad about him. What the hell are you doing going on the ground? But he knew that was the future. And today with MMA, we know with the Gracie family, what they did. Yeah. But today, it's a little bit different. MMA, when it started, and today it's athlete against athlete. When it started, it was martial arts against martial arts.
Yeah, you're right.
Which was interesting.
It was.
But not as exciting in terms of the actual fight. Like now it's a lot more entertaining to watch because you got kids that have been training since they were 4 years old, just like, and they're good at everything, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I wish I was one of those kids, bro.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've seen what you're.
Hey, listen, Lambros is still running from me. We've been supposed to rematch, and I've
You got the footage.
I've yet to hear anything from him.
Is gone, to be honest with you.
No, I still have the footage of me tapping him out. I still have it.
He did not tap you out.
Exactly. He did not tap me out. You're right.
So Thierry, you started training and everything.
So when I jumped into Jeet Kune Do, I was in the Jeet Kune Do concept. So they were doing a little bit of grappling, but I didn't know what to do. So I always wanted, like I said, even for the language, I always like to learn. So I said, okay, but if we're doing some grappling, but nobody knows how to grapple, then I need to go see a school who know how to grapple. Mm-hmm. So I went and I went in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school and I started grappling over there. So when I went back to my Jeet Kune Do and they were doing once a week or once every 2 weeks some grappling, then it became really easy. So that's when I saw that, okay, grappling is really, really effective. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I met George, who was already really high level. And he changed the sport. He's the one who changes the sport because he's the one, like at one point when I was training with him at TriStar, the biggest gym here in Montreal, everybody was training together because I'm part of the first generation with David Loiseau, Ivan Menjivar, the Vigneault's brothers, and it kept going on and on and on. Yeah. And we were training together, and then we wouldn't see George for the week. And then at the end of the week, when we combined everything together, then he was showing, and then he was just beating everybody. And me, I was kind of his friend, just even before training to TriStar, because I met him before. And I asked him once, I said, man, what are you doing the rest of the week? I know you train, He said, you guys, you're MMA fighters, so you box together without really knowing how to box. You wrestle together without really know how to wrestle. And I said, that makes sense. So what do you do? He said, I go to the wrestling team, the Olympic wrestling team.
Wasn't he using like Russian national wrestling?
Yeah, exactly. They're good. And he was boxing with professional boxer. Yeah. He was doing his Brazilian jiu-jitsu with like the top level. And then at the end of the week, he was just combining everything and just kicking our ass.
The shit out of everybody.
For sure.
Shout out to George, bro.
Yeah, man. He changed the sport.
Yeah, he did.
He's the Maurice Richard of our MMA or whatever you want to call it.
Honestly, I think George is top 3 all time. And it's not even a question to me, bro.
Like I think he was one of the main reasons why I started watching MMA in the first place. We had our poster boy, you know what I mean? Somebody from
Montreal. I'll never forget it, bro, because he used to come out to Sans Pression, and he was coming out. I want to say he was fighting Matt Hughes during that fight, and he came out. He always had the thing tied around his head, and you heard Sans Pression come on. The lights go dim, and all you hear is Montreal. I was like, I was going nuts, bro. That shit was crazy, man. Yeah, George, man. Shout out to George, man. That's by the way, dream guest on the podcast is GSP. So if ever you see this year, more than welcome to put me in an armbar, George. I will take that for the team. Absolutely.
I'd love to see that.
I would too.
Yeah.
Well, continue.
Yeah, so that's when you started to do grappling. At one point, grappling, what is fun about, so you have martial arts. Martial arts is like karate and all those different taekwondo, because you do all those kata, and it's an art. But when you start doing those kind of fighting sport, boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the difference is when you go in a martial art school, they show you technique, then you learn, but you don't really fight against each other. So you don't know how good you get, and you don't get that good fast. But when you do those like fighting sport, boxing, so okay, you go on the punching bag, but then okay, so go against that guy. So you're getting punched, you're getting good fast. And when you do a fighting sport, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the same thing. You get submit. At one point, they don't that same guy that was submitting you like many times at the beginning, after 3 months, he doesn't submit you anymore. And then you sweep him, and then maybe you choke him. And it's, oh, I'm getting better. And then I'm getting better. And then if you have that fighting spirit in you, then you want to compete. And then how it started. So I decided to jump and do my MMA career. And it was really hard at the beginning, but because I was really passionate about it, and I start meeting all those good people, and then go to train to the best gym with all those high level guys, and then it just went on and on and on.
What was the anxiety like for the first fight? You know, that first fight that you're finally gonna fight an opponent, the guy's gonna hit you with all the force that he's got. Were you a little like pumped up for it? Were you scared that something might happen, that you might get pulled out on a stretcher? Like, what was it?
I was completely innocent. Seriously, I was completely innocent. I was just pumped. Oh yeah, I wanted just to be sure I was in shape. I didn't have to lose weight. I was even like lower on the scale, because I was so motivated all the training camp that for me, do diet. Okay, I don't want to eat then. I don't need to eat. I just want to fight. I just want to kill them. Yeah.
Let me at him.
Yeah. So that was how it is. It was, but
that's when you're passionate, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't think about anything. You're just capable of just throwing yourself.
So you're telling me before you make the walk to the cage, you weren't nervous, bro?
That first time.
Yeah.
No, I was just pumped and crazy, innocent. But then, the more I got involved in that sport, the more I got stressed because I knew exactly in what I was going to. And now today, I'm even, if I see a fight in the street, I get stressed like more than somebody that don't know how to fight. Because I know how dangerous it is. I always said it. I had all my worse injury in my winning fight than in my losing fight.
Oh wow!
It just happened like that. It couldn't have been
coincidence.
But it just happened. So I know that whatever the fight happened, even if you win, you can injure yourself really, really bad. You have to do a surgery. It's fighting. It's a violent sport, like everybody, like a lot of people already say, and George already said also. You don't play fighting. You play soccer, but you don't play fighting.
You play basketball. You don't play fighting, bro.
No.
The consequences are much, much higher, you know? Because, I mean, a team sport, you lose a game, all right? We'll see you next week, you know what I mean? You lose a fight, you're going to the hospital most likely, bro.
Yeah, and it's different when you're younger, right? Like, I guess those cares are not really in your brain. But when you get older, you're like, my body's getting older.
Yeah. You have injuries.
It's easier to get injured. You never know what the next fight might hold. So I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know how many fights you've done, probably around 30, maybe more.
Yeah, pro fighting, I did 30, amateur more than 100.
Wow.
Okay, so like at that point, when you've gone through so many fights, you're seeing the results of what each fight brings. And so you're like, oh, this one I sprained my wrist, this one I
exactly.
my leg.
And also like a car, you get used. Yeah. So my body is used. Yeah. And I had a really bad injury. I got slammed on my head in one fight. It was an illegal move, but it happened. You cannot come back from it.
Can't take it back.
And after a couple of years, because I had like 3
herniated discs.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to practice that word, but it's really hard. In French?
I'm sorry.
No, it's perfect. No. I'm happy you said it. So yeah, I had like 3 in my neck, and then other different injury. And because that, after a couple of years, what happened, it kind of pinched a nerve, and my left arm got completely paralyzed for almost a year. And that's how I was forced to retire completely at 35 years old. And I'm not, I'm happy not about getting paralyzed, but what it brought me after. But just talking about injury, I had a really, really bad injury.
Did your arm like atrophy at all?
Completely.
Really?
Really small. I saw myself in the mirror one day. I had that small belly, a small arm. That one wasn't that big either, but a little bit bigger. And then I watched myself in the mirror. I said, man, I used to be such an athlete, and that's how I am today. I was so sad. And then one of my doctor, the doctor who gives the pills, the anesthesiast, she was really nice. I told her, oh no, I don't feel good, after a couple of months. And, my arms, I couldn't even bend my arm and she said, but what are you doing? I'm like, I do nothing all day long. I just do nothing. She said, but you need to start doing something. You need to walk outside. You need whatever. And then that's what I decided. I like to clean stuff in the house. I like when everything is structured.
Me too.
So I start doing vacuum and all those 3 different floor, and at each
which is not a bad workout, really. Like to be honest.
Yeah, if you go at it, you start sweating.
Just like methodically vacuuming.
Yeah, man, and lifting all those things.
Yeah.
And then at each floor, I was trying my best to do some push-up. Okay. Even if that arm didn't really work good, I was helping myself, and it just reactive everything.
Yeah, it took activating the muscles again.
Yeah, because they say that's. I don't remember who told me that, but he read on that those astronauts that go and they say if you just it was one of my friend who's a doctor as well. He said if I just lift something with my right arm, the nerve give a signal to the other arm, so it kind of work also for my left arm. I cannot get built, but at least it makes stuff work. So I said, oh, okay. So it's by learning and listening to people at one point and doing it. Also, that's the main thing, and it just came back and back. I still have problem with it, but I'm happy, and that's make me being down to earth and know that it's part of the reason I want to travel, because I know I only have one life to live.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
Like you mentioned physical injury, but mentally, how did that affect you, knowing that you couldn't compete anymore? You're out of the game. Were you waking up saying, like, how were you feeling about that?
The first year, it wasn't that bad, because I was coaching my kids. I have 2 boys, two identical twins boys.
Oh, wow.
They were playing football, and I was that year. It just happened like that. I used to be the running back coach, but then that year they needed a head coach and an offensive coach also. So I needed to learn. So I went to all those different universities to do all those conference and learning all those different positions. And even if I was paralyzed, when I was an athlete, I give all my time to train. But then being paralyzed, I couldn't train. So now I give all my time to, I always said to my kids, your brain's a muscle. So now I was training my brain. I was training that muscle upstairs, and I learned so much, and it was so fun to coach my kids and learn how to be an OC and all those signals to make that attack. So it kind of changed my mind that year. But after 2-3 years that my kids was not playing football anymore, and that was something from the past, now it came back in my face. And some other stuff happened also, but then that was really, really hard. And I realized time passed, and now it's not possible to go back. So, yeah.
That's crazy, man. But like physically, like, because I mean, look, looking at you, I would have never guessed that you had atrophy in one of your arms. I mean, the guy's fucking shredded, guy. You know what I'm saying? So like, how was the road physically to come back from that? Like to build yourself back up to where you are now?
Again, it's all about my kids. One of my son, he wanted to start, because my kids, I brought them to my martial arts when they were really little. But at one point, I was so tough on them. Then I said, "Oh, that's not the relationships I want for them, and I want them to succeed differently." So I took them out of the martial art. But then when one of my kids was like 18, 2-3 years ago, then he asked me, "I want to start doing jiu-jitsu like full time." Like, oh, okay, but and then I introduced him to Firas, the TriStar owner and coach. And then because I was there from the first day almost, they treat us like family. So he treat my kids like his own son. And then at one point I said, me and my kids were friends together, because I made a rule when they were young, like beginning of teenage age. I said, we could be friends. I know everybody say that an adult cannot be, like, a parents cannot be friends with their kids, but I said, I don't believe in that. I do believe we can be friends, but we need to establish boundaries. Yeah. So what I did, I said, so the rules of the house, the rules, huh? They said, yes. Okay, let's pass through the rules. So we made sure, like a square, that, the rules is those walls. if you stay in those walls, we're friends. Because you respect the rule of the house, I respect the rule of the house, so we can be friends. We treat each other with respect, and we're friends. As soon as you step 1 foot out of the rule, I become back your dad, and then I bring you back in the square. So we brought that relationship of being friend. Even now, today, I see my kids, we hang out together, we talk together, we're like friends. So when he decided to do jiu-jitsu, I said, man, that's what I love. I love jiu-jitsu. I said, I won't let him just do jiu-jitsu. I'll go with him also. So I started to do jiu-jitsu again. And then I see all my old friend, OG friend, and then those new generation. I was messed up with those leg lock stuff. It's new. It's the new thing. And I was all messed up. But because I like to learn, my my son, so his name Anthony, he learned fast. So at one point I was asking him a question. I'm the black belt, he's a white belt, but he's showing me technique. And that was perfect because, I always said, when I received my black belt, I always said, because you have to do a speech. And I said, we brought color in martial art because it's for the money. But back then, the mentality of a black belt is just a white belt who got dirty with the year because you're not allowed to wash your belt. So you can change your gi or your kimono, but you cannot change your belt. So your belt get dirty, and at one point it become black because it's so dirty. So that's how they were doing in those judo class and karate and in Japan. So they were seeing people with kind of dirty black belt, and they say, "Oh, it's been a long time he's there, so he's a black belt."
That's a lot of experience.
So that's how it become a white belt to a black belt. So
oh wow, I didn't know that.
That's actually really
it is. Yeah. It is. And a lot of people that do martial art don't even know. Yeah. It's all about reading and reading. I was reading a lot when I was passionate about Bruce Lee. I was always reading on Bruce Lee, all his philosophy book and all his technique book, and so you learn a lot. So me, as a black belt, I always feel that I'm a white belt. I'm always learning and learning. I'm just a dirty white belt. That's the thing. It is. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
It sounds like a song right there.
So it was awesome, and I just kept on going. And see, this year I just even started to do some BJJ tournament back, just for fun. So that's why I'm back in shape. I stopped to drink alcohol because I wasn't an alcoholic, but
it does suck.
Too much free time. When you have free time, sometimes it becomes part of the routine. You want to have that drink after a certain time or something. Maybe that's what it was. Let's hear it.
What do you mean?
Because you said you weren't an alcoholic, but you found you were drinking.
Yeah, but how it happened is like until I was like at least 30 years old, I wasn't drinking no alcohol at all because I was planning on doing that career and being a professional athlete. I didn't need that beer. Even I remember one that I fought. I had a really tough fight. I won by decision, and another guy that won really fast. It seems even more in shape than me. And at the after party, he was drinking, and back then I told my wife, I said, "See how wrong it is." Mm-hmm. But he performed better than I did. Yeah. But I said, that's wrong. That's not a professional athlete. I didn't, I was searching for myself. I was trying stuff. And I believe to do great thing, alcohol can...
It stops you.
Yeah.
It's a barrier.
It's a barrier. 100%. It slows you at least, for sure.
You down. Absolutely.
It's demonic.
Yeah. And I did a lot until my 30 years old. I was taking care of my kids. I was doing my career. I was doing a lot of stuff. And then after... I just jumped in that bad circle of after party. All those clubs was sponsoring me, giving me all those bottles. And because I was drinking at the after party, I had so much fun because I let myself being loose. And then
such a disciplined life too, eh?
So I went in that bad circle, and with my paralyzed arm at 35 years old, it went a little bit worse. And then I had one of my sisters got suicide, so it went even worse. So all those things went really bad. But then at one point, 2-3 years ago, I just realized, I'm not realizing nothing. I want to travel. And then last year, I told my son Anthony after a training, I said, "You see that pickup, that box? At my age, when I was your age, I could just jump on the box. I didn't care. today at my age, if I'm healthy, you know, I'll just put my foot on the wheel and just climb
up
strategically. But, you know, if I keep drinking and not being in shape,
nothing.
I can not even do that.
Yeah.
So imagine if I want to travel everywhere in the world, I won't be healthy. I can, you know, every day I'll wake up and it'll be really, really hard. So, you know, I told Tiny about it when I went to Calgary for a week. I said, you know, the old Thierry, what he would have done is that the day I arrive, I would have go to my auntie and uncle. I would drink alcohol with them,
for sure.
Get smashed.
They like to drink in Calgary, boy. That's a drink in town.
Then the day after, what I would have done, wake up really late, drink coffee, and then at one point, oh, you want me to do something? Oh no, yes, well, and then
so much time.
At 5 o'clock, okay, it's time to drink again, and then it would have been like that. The 6 or 7 days I was in Calgary. But the difference is that every day I was waking up early. I was doing stuff, helping my uncle and auntie. And then I was going to train in Calgary. I was an hour away from Calgary and I was keep going over there. And I met a lot of people. And then every time, and then I told her 2 days, one day after another, I was finding myself driving alone and just smiling and being so happy.
Taking advantage of life.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But you know what? I find for especially with health, right? Like routine, just having a routine that you're sticking to is so key and it's so important. For me, especially, it's important because for me, I know personally that if for training, for example, right, I do 4 or 5 times a week, and I know myself well enough to know that if I don't get up in the morning and go to the gym, I'm not going to the gym today, guys. If it gets to noon, it gets every hour that passes by, it gets harder and harder and harder for me to get up and get to the gym, right? And especially with the drinking too, I find I was never like a really crazy drinker, but I was into other things, right? And like we just grew up in an environment where even to this day, most of my friends that I have now, like they don't know how to have a good time without some sort of substance, right? Whether it's alcohol or weed or name this substance, right? And it's like you're absolutely right about the fact that like we do live in a society where like fun and having a good time is so based on, you know, whether it's eating or consuming certain substances that it's like you don't even know how to have a good time without it. And like a lot of the road to recovery for a lot of people is hard because you find yourself distancing yourself from those type of people, from those type of substances. But it's like, now what do I do? Like, what, you know, what do I go out? Like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here with a glass of water? Like, I don't know how to have fun without doing these things, right? So that's what makes it so hard for people. So I commend you on especially like everything that you went through and being able to turn it all around the way you did. And as we spoke about on your last podcast, same thing for you, right? So it's like, because not everybody can do it. Not everybody has that switch. It's like you either kind of have it or you don't, you know? And I think a lot of people are still right now, like they're lost and they just like, so I guess what I'm getting to, right, is if somebody is in the position that you were in a couple of years ago, they want to change their life, but they don't know how to start, where to start. Like, what would you say would be the first, like the catalyst? What would be the move?
My opinion, a big part of it is having that support, you know what I mean? Because like people are so focused on what they're losing. So, you know, human beings need their social life and their comfort. So a lot of times when you quit drinking, almost everything has to change. Your friends need to change, your activities need to change, everything needs to change. So I think what makes a change easier is if you're connecting with people, other people that already did it.
Right.
It's almost like building a business, right? It's like if you try to build a business from scratch yourself and you don't have that blueprint, the chances are it's going to be really, really hard and you're going to give up. Yeah. You know, it's going to be too uncomfortable, even though it could be so rewarding. So when you do have someone that already did it, you do have someone that you can connect with, you do have someone that, you know, you could do activities with, I think it would be a lot easier. Like I had to do my changes alone and I was okay with that because I was just fed up of suffering. I was fed up of the toxic circle repeating itself over and over again and wasting that time. But I think that's why it's important, you know, like in my business, we have a community. We actually have a fitness community. So women can connect with other women and, you know, they can talk about their challenges and they can support each other and give each other tricks Because if you have that support, I find it's just so much easier. And you see, like Thierry, he quit drinking since December, and we used to talk about it before that at the gym. Then he was like, "Oh, you really don't drink at all?" I was like, "No, at all." Like, we even had a Christmas party, and we had talked about it. I was like, "No, for me, I'm like, this interferes with my productivity, with my business. Like, for me, it's done. It's gonna be 6 years I don't drink." And he's like, I want to quit drinking too, you know. And now it's like, you know, he doesn't drink, I don't drink, and it works so well, like that partnership that we have, because we're on the same level. So I think it's important really to realize that you're not alone. There is other people, and that you don't need to isolate yourself, but you have to put yourself in that environment, like in the gyms, in the this and the that, so you can make new friends, you know.
100%. 100%. That's it. That's key right there, man. Shit.
So did you guys meet at the gym? Was that like the first?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys met at the gym.
Yeah.
So how did this happen?
You had things
y'all,
in common.
Y'all was in the gym, and then you noticed her, or she noticed
usually what we see in these gym environments, that a gym crush never actually hooks up with the guy. You know what I mean? We just always stare at each other for 2 years.
I'm just in the gym creepy.
It's
like
all these videos you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
But me, I wasn't training over there. I was working, not as a coach, but taking care of the Le Bar Santé and the supplement store. Okay. And then she came in the supplement store.
I said he had beautiful eyes.
Oh shit!
And then it was the first time we just met. I wasn't really.
It wasn't bad intentions. It was just a compliment.
Yeah. But I was not the employee who was like helping for the supplement. I was just taking care of the store. So we met, but not that much. And then I saw her a couple of times. And then she went to Mexico, and I keep on working there. And then she came back, and you know, just
naturally things just.
Yeah, like we're both in a position that, you know, got out of relationships on the same day. It's very fluke. But you know, we would always talk and connect on such important points. You know, like whenever I would talk with Thierry, it was always very deep, nourishing conversations, you know, like about business, about not drinking, about the changes he wanted to make in his life that I already made. So I always thought he was like so interesting, because like we're saying, it's very difficult to find people that are there in their life. You know, like I do most of my journey on my own, and I bring people into that lifestyle. That's my job as an individual, you know, is to teach people how to have that lifestyle. So it's difficult for me to find other people that, you know, think the same and that, you know, do the same. So every time we'd have a conversation, it was like that. So when I was just getting out of my relationship, he was getting out of his relationship, we just, you know, it was again, on se rejoint là-dessus, on se rejoint sur d'autres points. So we're just in a position right now that's like, you know, living in the moment and saying, you know what, this is good now, it works now, and just going day by day, you know, but no pressure, and things are just awesome.
I think the fact that you said living in the moment, I don't want to ask, like, what do you see happening in a few years from now?
Oh,
but
now you're putting constraints on them, Steve. That's what they don't want.
Live in the
exactly.
moment.
That's why I don't want to ask that. That's why I'm not going to ask that. So you're going there you're going to have a seven day drive to Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you get there, what's the plan like after those 7 days? Just short time frame. Now give me, I don't want 2 years.
So I rented a house in Hollywood.
See, there we go.
On the hills. On the Hollywood Hills.
Hills have eyes, man.
Yeah.
Long hills have eyes.
Yeah, so basically right on the Hollywood Hill, actually looking over LA.
That's crazy.
There's a pool and everything. Thierry, like, we both decided that we're going together, and we're really going with and that's the thing too, is that, you know, it's important to kind of put that message out there, is that, you know, we're very open-minded and we have open communication. You know, we're not trying to put labels on our situation. Be like, oh, you're my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend. It's like, we have a partnership, we get along, we're seeing each other, things are great, and we both understand that it's very new and it's very recent. And if we feel any type of way at any single moment, you know, we're big enough to communicate that, you know, we go separate ways. But we want to go on this adventure together, and we want to experience it, and we don't really know where we're going. We're going to Hollywood, we're chasing opportunities, we're building a business, we're building a friendship, we're building a relationship, and whatever comes out of it will come out of it.
That's dope.
I love the fact that you're not putting a label on anything, and you're not being confined to that label. You know what I mean? So
Steve, stop trying to use this to spread your propaganda to all these Cuban and Colombian women. All right, relax, bro.
it is important because at the end of the day, if you're just gonna do it out of comfort or
I think you have to be flexible with your thinking. I think that's the problem, is that we get attached to things, people, places too much. And one thing that I've learned over the last years that allowed me to build this life that I have, like traveling to Mexico, is the ability to let go of things that don't serve me. So it's like, we have to be big enough. Like Thierry, he's been in a relationship for 20 years. He's been in a relationship for 5 years. And we both had the discussion that a lot of times we stay with people too long. And like we grow, we evolve. So it's like, as an individual, sometimes the things we want change. And as long as we're compatible with a person, we have to be able to recognize that. But we also have to be big enough to recognize when we're not, So it's like, again, like we're saying about traveling, it's the same thing. We have to go into experiences with an open mind and then say, what's good is good. And then when it's not good, it's not good, So I think that labels prevent us from moving forward. Labels, they create a sense of attachment, and that sense of attachment sometimes could become a barrier.
100%.
It's a new way.
It is new.
We're creating it.
Yeah. Listen. I'm along for the ride. Y'all make sure y'all watch the YouTube channel because this shit interesting.
Now
bro.
I just learned something.
What happened?
Don't get too attached. Don't jump into things too quick. Don't move in with somebody.
Why you gonna do that to Talia on the show like that?
She needed
man?
that. She just said she needed that.
I didn't need that though.
Yeah.
She needed that too. You need the real.
That, not that.
You needed the real
You just put
deal.
all your business out on the street.
Fucking guy.
It's the Hustle Podcast.
That's the podcast,
Well, at
baby.
least he's not saying I'm pregnant.
I mean,
Yeah, at least.
you have no suitors right now.
I already said hash the one. He's available.
Hash the one is available. Yeah, he's been trying to take you on a date for at least a couple months now.
I'll consider it actually.
You should.
Yeah.
Go to a nice small restaurant.
Thierry, you mentioned that
Glad you got it.
you sold the house.
Not yet.
Okay, so you're selling the house.
Yeah,
That's a big move, man.
it is.
Don't you feel a little stressed about that? Or
It's my third house that I'm
Okay, so-
selling.
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
selling
yeah.
the house, so let's do it.
No, but it's just
It's just material.
it's just material.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Even I have it's a big house with a huge outside garage. I have my inside garage for the house, but I have a huge outside garage. I built a huge gym in it, and I just put everything to sell, and even with cheap price. And then people ask me like, oh, man, why don't you charge more? I just want
Want to get rid of it.
and that's I told Tiny, I said, man, even maybe a week before, if I see I have too much thing, I'll just bring a container and then I'll tell everybody on social media, if you want to come and help, keep what you want to keep, and the rest will just throwing out.
I'm gonna follow you then. I'm trying to get some free gym
Because
equipment, bro.
what can I do with
Nah,
it?
for sure, you're right.
I just want to be free. It's just material and
It's all about freedom now. That's what it's all about.
I kind of envy you guys in a sense because I wish I was in like a point in my life where I could just kind of just let go and just
crazy.
be,
It's
right?
such a
No,
gift.
I mean my
Do
kids
it-
are
do
6
it-
and 7. I'm
do
a
what I
little,
did. Just
I'm a little stuck
go through
right
your
now. Like,
closet.
and I don't mean stuck. I don't mean to like that's not what I mean. I mean I don't know what I mean, but fuck. You see what you did to me now? You painted me in a corner.
Because he raised 2 kids
Yeah.
up until and that's how he feels, is that his whole life was dedicated to, which still is, raising his boys that are now in their 20s, and it's like now he has that freedom.
Exactly.
And that's one of the main reasons too that it's like all about, okay, like, do I really want to live? Like, we never question these things. We all think that we want to live in a big house and this and that, but like, what are we gaining from that?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, what is true happiness, right?
Yeah, I think the younger generation is more about like experiences. Like you see it that they don't, like we see it in the financial system, that they're less about saving money and more about experiences, because we're starting to realize the value, the intrinsic value of these things rather than material goods. That what are you gaining?
You can't take your house with you when you're 6 feet deep, right?
Exactly. So it's like, I think that's really, it's one of the best gifts that we could possibly have is, to have that type of freedom and flexibility,
100%. I'll get there one day.
it's about timing.
Yeah.
It is.
Because I was a father who was it's really important to take care of your kids.
Yeah, that's
you decided to have kids, then take care of them, you know,
100%.
Make sure that they have a roof over their head, they eat properly, they go to school, and then you pass time with them. That's what I think that a lot of parents don't do enough, is spending time with their kids. Like quality spending time. But that's another subject. But then when that's done, you did it. Now I did it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So there's hope. Is what you're saying.
It is hope.
All right, good.
Totally.
Good. Yeah, no, because when your kids are a certain age, man, it's just hard to see past where you're at right now, right? Like this is my life right now. I'm a father. I train. I go to work. I'm a father. I train. I go to work. Sleep, rinse, repeat. That's my life right now. And I come and do a podcast twice a month, which is a nice change up for me, to be honest with you. I'm happy to be here right now. But yeah, there's hope. So
Talia, you should have no excuses right now. You got no commitments. You got that job.
I have a cat.
I have a cat. Leave the cat with your mom.
Bring your cat with
and
you.
just like go on a 6-month Euro trip.
I want to do that, actually.
Yeah, do it. Get down and dirty and disgusting.
But it's like important to notice, to realize too, that, you know, what makes it possible, like in my case, is I do have an online business, right? So it's like there's certain, because when you do go to different countries, you require a visa to work. So that's a huge constraint for a lot of people. But in my case, when COVID happened, I was able to, you know, switch my business online and build a very successful online business, you know, so it gives me that flexibility.
And it gives you freedom as well.
Exactly. So it's like, it's not necessarily, like, I think we are in a time now where, you know, there are more and more online jobs. Like, you know, even companies now are offering that as an incentive. Yeah. But that's where, you know, it's like if someone says, okay, well, I would want to do that, it's not impossible. You don't need to have an online business, because there's so many companies that are actually offering it now. You know, like digital marketing offers it. Almost anything that's like technology and that's not part of a big institution, like most of them have that flexibility. So it's possible for a lot of people. It is. I was thinking it wasn't, and then I realized
IT as well. Like you can take a cybersecurity course and work from anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
like a data analyst.
Yeah, you meet a lot of them when you're outside the country. When I was living in Tulum, I had met like so many digital nomads, like from different places in Canada. You know, in their 20s, their 30s, working for companies and just working beside the pool. You know, doing their thing. So,
what a life, bro.
Yeah.
When I was in Medellin a month ago. Everybody,
I like how you pronounce
everybody that I met. Oh, what do you do? Software developer. Yeah. I think I met 10 software developers all in one bar.
What did you tell them when they asked you what you did?
I told them I what's it called?
So, bro,
production. I got a podcast.
Import and exports.
But yeah, you're right. There's so many online opportunities right now, and even here in Canada, ever since the pandemic. Been offering it like crazy that you can work from home. You gotta do is do this online, you know what I mean? And if you can work from home, you can technically fly to somewhere like Colombia.
The company allows it,
$500 a month, you can have a beautiful apartment. You're chilling. The weather there is amazing, you know what I mean? Like,
I think in the end, like, it's just really important to like have an idea of what you want for your life. Like, that's what I realize, is that we think there's all these constraints and barriers and limitations, but you know, it's like, when you're very crystal clear about what you want to accomplish, anything is doable. Anything. Like we're saying, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, like for someone that wouldn't know me, would be like, oh my God, she has this life living in Hollywood. I've known Paul for, my God, we went to high school together. It wasn't always like that, eh, Paul?
Mr. Steal your girl, Paul.
It wasn't always like that, Paul. And, you know, it's like, I think it's just about having that clarity. Like, what do I want and what are my options? Like, how can I do it? Because it's like we're saying, so many people have that dream of, you know, working from outside of the country, working 100%. From Greece, working from down south. So it's like, if that's what you want, well, there's ways, you know, and often it comes from connecting with people that have already done it. Like, that's always my advice, is if you want to do something, you want to change your life, you want to build a business, connect with people that have already done it, and then you're getting your blueprint, you know. But without that, you're just going through a cycle of this thing called life that's like often unfulfilling and repetitive. And that's where we fall on those behaviors like drinking alcohol and eating for comfort, and it's boredom, you know.
But you know what's crazy? A lot of the successful entrepreneurs we've had on this show have all come down to that same point, which is mentorship. It's been a common theme on this show. It's been mentorship, 100%.
It totally is.
Yeah.
You need that blueprint. You need someone to show you how to do it. Because how are you going to materialize something that you can't actually see? You know, it's like you can't materialize it because you can't see it. So if you can't see it, it's impossible. But once you see it, it becomes possible. Right. You know, so you just need someone to show you how it's done, and then move to the next steps. Move through the steps.
See, for that YouTube channel that we're doing, it just happened like that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks when I brought that idea. And then last week, I just decided to write on my Facebook to all my friends, like, do I have a friend or different friend that knows about YouTube stuff? So I had a couple of DM, and one of my friend DM me, so I call him, and then he's willing to do all the edit of the video. And then another friend called me, and he said, you know what? It's my job. I have 2 YouTube channels. It goes really, really well. Oh, wow. So we start talking together, and then I said, oh, can I meet you? Can I say? So yesterday I went to his house for 4 hours. He showed me so many stuff that he said he would have loved that somebody show him. He lost like a year just learning. And then he said a week before, when we spoke on the phone, he said, you know what? It's the annual convention in Dallas of YouTuber.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
a certain date.
That's crazy.
Like,
he said you should go. He said, if you're serious about it. I said, but it was just an idea. Yes, I want to do it, but then by talking to him and other guys that's kind of doing it, I kind of realized it can become a wealthy job.
Yeah, bro. Manifested it though.
Yeah, totally. And then I bought all my ticket, and I'm going to the convention next Monday until Friday, all week long. And he said those 3 days, because you know nothing about YouTube, you'll learn like for at least 2 years of experience just in 3 days, because it's all those guys that do that as a job, and they're going to show you exactly what to do. It's like, okay, let's go.
Smart move.
And it is
stars have aligned, put it that way. You know?
Yeah.
I think we're getting to that time of the day.
That's it.
That we gotta start passing out the gem.
Talia, that's your job, shorty.
It's a little far away.
Come on, get up now. All right, I'll do it. Let me move the mic. I'm a very chesty individual. So I'm gonna hand you this gem, sir.
Okay.
And essentially, your responsibility at this point of the show is to do what we call drop a gem. So this is knowledge, wisdom for anybody at any point, whatever kind of knowledge you want to impart onto people, whether it's somebody looking to start a business, whether it's somebody looking to get healthy, whatever it is, whatever comes to you.
Perfect.
The floor is yours.
I have an idea. So we spoke about how it is to kind of try to stop drinking alcohol. You know, for those who don't really have a big problem of drinking alcohol, my suggestion, because I saw many different person doing it that way, I did it that way also. I started with a small objective. Like, okay, I'll stop drinking until that date because I'm doing something that date. And then it just happened, but I felt so good those couple of weeks not drinking. Then when I arrive, you have two situations. Either you keep going on or you drink, and then be truthful to yourself. If you've been stopping a couple of weeks and you see how good you've been after a couple of weeks, the day you'll drink, how bad you feel the day after. Even the alcohol that you drink don't taste the same. The drink you think it tastes good when you were drinking it, it doesn't drink that good. It doesn't feel that good the day you drink it for the first time after a couple of weeks. So, oh, okay, that's the taste. And then you take another one, and then eventually, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that taste. But then you wake up the day after, you didn't sleep well. So if you're truthful to yourself and you like all those weeks it happened, that's what happened to a lot of people. They did that small objective, then they did another one, and then at one point, you know, for the same thing for myself, I realized, you know what, I don't feel like drinking anymore, because I feel so good going to bed, being healthy, wake up, being not thirsty and not dehydrated, and then doing all my day with a lot of energy. So that's the way I did it. You know, you have the situation that Tiny said, being around it by people that can help you and did it before, or you can do it that way. You know, just small objective. And then by then you realize how good, but be truthful to yourself.
100%.
If you are, it'll help you and you'll understand.
Then you end up moving to Hollywood.
Oh, shit.
So do I spin it? What?
Oh, I didn't land it right on the diamond. Come on.
There you go.
Come on,
Now,
bro.
T, you get to drop another gem for us.
I do.
You're gonna have all kinds of gems.
I do. Well, I don't know. I think I'll just add to his since we're on that. You know, I think a lot of this was about just inspiring people, in my opinion. You know, that's my only goal, is to show people that it's possible to live a life that you truly desire. And like Terry was saying, that, you know, my entire journey started with identifying my biggest challenge. And like Terry said, you know, that when you do take measures to eliminate things that are barriers, then you can step into your personal power. So I think that, you know, if we're here today, it's because we both made those changes of, you know, wanting to eliminate things that were interfering with our happiness and with our success and with our productivity. And when we do that, then, you know, amazing things could happen in our life, but we have to be truthful to ourselves and willing to apply those changes.
That's the key right there. Yeah. That's the key right there. Yeah. God damn it.
TikTok's gonna be waiting for that one. They're waiting
where can our beautiful listeners find this YouTube channel of you guys, and where can they find you guys both individually online as well?
So the channel it's already exists. It already exists, but it's not online.
Gotcha.
So, but when it will be, the name of the channels is Traveling Training.
Okay, nice.
So that's, and then if you go on my name, Thierry, Thierry 23 BJJ, and then or Thierry Quenneville on Facebook. So that's how you find me on those little small social media for myself, because I wasn't that much on social media. But eventually with the YouTube, you know, that will be the Traveling Training channel.
That's what's up. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna take some tips and tricks myself.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? What about you, T?
tinyt.fitness on Instagram. That's the primary.
She has a TikTok now too.
I don't even use it.
You have to start using TikTok. You got a 250,000 views on TikTok on ours. You think you're not gonna get?
It was more. It was like closer to 500,000.
270,000.
Energy, all this social media, guys.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, look, now that we're creating reels and everything.
Yeah.
Once I get the reels, I'll send you the reels and you can post on your TikTok.
I'll do that.
It'll be great for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Guys, thank you for being here. We had a great time. Good luck on your adventure. I'll be watching on the YouTube and everything.
And she's about to win her first competition. We can't let that go away.
I'll be following from the travel channel.
Your first champion. Yeah, you're right. What am I talking about? Your first champion. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, let's go. Let's go. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of the Hustle Podcast. We out.
Welcome, everybody. Y'all ready for this? The Hustle. My name is Steve Armopoulos, and these are my co-hosts, Natalia, and I'm Tech Luciano. You may have heard me on radio. You may have never heard of me at all, but that's okay.
Y'all gon' learn today. Your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out